It's kind of strange how the corporate media, Hollywood, and the vast majority of the entertainment industry is still trying to gaslight you on this false idea that somehow all crimes are being committed by white, right-wing, evil males.
What? I can stand it.
Yeah.
Yep, as the UK government, along with Netflix, created a whole alternative reality series of a young white man radicalized by no one other than chauvinistic right-wing commentators that hurt and took the lives of children inside of a school. They forgot to actually totally tell the truth on that, as now that truth is unraveling, as a lot of people are now noticing, hey, you know those crimes, those gruesome attacks, all the horrible things that have been happening in the inner cities? For some reason, they're not right-wing white guys doing it. As, of course, the UK made it mandatory viewing for children to see this propaganda Netflix slop, which is an inversion of reality, a reality that now finally is starting to seep into the vast majority of people that are starting to see and notice some really jarring, crazy crime statistics and numbers that are unavoidable. As Tim Pool shares his past that is eerily kind of similar to my past. He grew up in Chicago. I grew up in New York City. And his kind of explanation of anarcho-tyranny or tyranny is, I think, a perfect representation of what's going on right now with the larger fight that's unfolding right now between Donald Trump and Chicago. Now, it's going to be interesting to see how all of this unfolds, because I understand the kind of protectionist civil liberties arguments that I do believe need to be heard and respected. While on the other hand, there's another form of type of injustice that I think needs to be exposed as well. Which one is worse? I'll tell you in this particular video, as well as having a more nuanced take on it that is more based in reality than principles, to be quite honest with you. If we're going to be respectable of each other's time, which we are here, and if you respect that, subscribe, click the notification button, as of course we greatly appreciate all the time you spend with us, and I try to be as honest as I can be, specifically about my own personal viewpoints, what I like, what I want, and the reality of the situation. Now, Toad here says, horrible right-wingers are noticing what's actually happening, as Axios is reporting that there's a gruesome video of a Ukrainian refugee that fled a war zone only to meet her end and demise from a career convicted criminal that was arrested 14 times before and then let loose on the streets, where he violently took out a metal object and dug it deep into her throat here. Now, Donald Trump was asked, hey, did you see this? He was specifically asked if he saw this horrible attack on this Ukrainian woman by this career criminal. And last night, this is what Donald Trump had to say. She was in Charlotte on the light train. Nope, I haven't heard it. When did this happen? Now, Donald Trump not knowing about this now means he's probably going to watch it soon. And with the way that Trump's acting, you could probably expect a lot of bombastic, crazy action that probably will be met. Now, according to Tim Pool, this is good. This is great. And he describes his type of life growing up. And I think he makes a compelling argument. Some aspects I disagree with, but I'm going to go to the thesis. I'm going to go to the kind of meat and potatoes of his argument in a little bit, and we're going to delve into it. Now, he describes a situation where he had some of his friends' gaming equipment. Like, literally, one of the similar things happened to me. I remember these, like, 3 older kids, but it wasn't just that. Growing up in New York City, growing up in Brooklyn. I mean, I was in Brooklyn, 1993, in Brooklyn. Okay, that was a different ballgame. That was before the hipsters and the yuppies took it over and brought in all the Dunkin' Donuts and Starbucks and JP Morgan Chases and CVS's everywhere. All right, that was before that day. That was the day when there were still mom and pop shops. There were still, a bunch of criminals running around and a bunch of bedlam. Let's just be honest with ourselves. A bunch of people that I knew were stabbed. I saw someone nearly lose their life from a stabbing that my friend was doing to somebody else. My friend that I was on the basketball team with got macheted to death. I saw people shot. I had a person in my friend group that got shot and then passed away. I had another friend shot in leg, and yeah, I could keep going on and on. I don't kind of want to, because it's kind of nothing to brag about. It's nothing to show off about. It's like, oh, there's massive amounts of trauma. It's like, oh crap. Like, looking back at it, it just makes me feel uneasy thinking about it. Tim described sort of similar situations in his video.
Game Shark. Actually, it was a Game Shark I was borrowing from my friend James. It's not a joke. And they broke into my house, and they took only the Game Shark. It was plugged into the back of my PlayStation.
I remember growing up in Brooklyn, my parents were gone, and like the kid downstairs knew the parents were gone, so he called his friends over, and they tried to literally break into my home. And they like broke over the seams. I remember holding the door. I remember I had to barricade the door. I'm like, who the hell's trying to break into my door? So crazy situations that are happening still with people choosing to live. There's a reason I live in like a very nice, quiet part of Miami now. All right?
Oh, why? But they did. They could have taken the PlayStation. I guess they didn't want to carry it. I asked my friends, what would you prefer? We go outside and a couple of National Guard are walking down the street and you walk past them? Or literally how life was? And they just start laughing. They said it's a stupid question.
Yeah, it is. Because it's like, does it really make a difference, honestly? Well, with the way that things have been going, I'm gonna play another clip here of Tim, because I think he really drives the point home here in a little bit. But before I do, I wanted to tell you about WeAreChange.shop. We got one of the greatest, best shops out there, and one of the supplements that I really like, that I really use all the time, is the fish oil one. I really like fish oils. And we have Dr. Rhonda Patrick talking about how optimizing your omega-3 intake might be one of the easiest ways to quote.
What's interesting was there's a study out of Harvard that identified the marine source. So I talked about salmon, EPA, DHA, and then there's the plant source, ALA. And I say marine source because it's really, those are the important ones that you really want.
From the ocean.
From fish, seafood. So this Harvard study identified not eating enough seafood as one of the top 6 preventable causes of death, up there with not having hypertension, not smoking. So essentially, not getting enough omega-3 from seafood was so important for preventing early death that it was comparable to people having high blood pressure, having cardiovascular disease, for example. And again, it's one of those things where people just don't think.
I don't know why I couldn't mute this tab. I'm like, what's going on? Now I can. Okay, of course. Apologies for that. But again, some people are saying that 90% of the American general public falls short of their daily EPA, DHA requirements. I had my doctor recommend omega-3 fish oils. I started taking some. I cycle on and off. This is another important aspect here. If you're able to get sardines and get them in olive oil and get them in glass, good olive oil, boom, you got a great source. They're usually a bit more expensive. We're able to, of course, get small fish. The big fish have a lot of mercury and a lot of heavy metals and a lot of other crap in them. And I'm like, I don't want parasites. I don't want to risk it. I'll just have some fish oils. Me being a Nordic, Slavic type of person, like our people love fish and we thrive off fish. Like Catholics eat fish a lot. So WeAreChange.shop. Check it out. Do your own homework. Do your own research before putting anything into your own body. But support yourself, support us all at the same time by going to WeAreChange.shop. Now, let's go back to Tim here that drives the point home here that I think is important for us to talk about, since there's so many of these other crimes that we have to talk about, as a lot of them are being classified as white when they're not, huh?
I said they laughed because it was a retarded question. Duh. Literally nobody I know is going to have a problem with this. They're going to be like, what? I don't know. Like the national, what? Who cares? Don't get me wrong. It's not like we were cheering on the cops on the south side of Chicago. The police department was run by Democrats. It was broken. But are you kidding me?
Cops were corrupt and horrible. There was one police officer that was like in my neighborhood that was literally caught like forcing himself on like children and women, like arresting them and then like horrible levels of corruption. Which, this is the kind of weird choice that we're kind of given. Like, do you want the cop on the corner? making your day uncomfortable? Or do you want the kind of gangbanger there on the corner? Which one do you want? Like, it's like, yeah, either way, I wish my libertarian philosophy would be, I wish I could defend myself and not need any of them and have a civilization in life where we respected each other and our property. But that's not the world that we're living in, all right? To believe that we could snap our fingers and that could happen overnight here, especially with some of the cultures, especially with some of the demographics, especially with some of the crime statistics out there. That's just delusional, all right? And we're stuck between these paradigms. My paradigm is freedom, self-defense, be able to defend yourself. That's the paradigm that I want, but that's not the paradigm we're living in. And we have to kind of acquiesce here. Okay, do you want the guardsman on the corner or do you want the thug? Now, the guardsman and the cop could be corrupt too, and I saw a lot of corrupt police officers. Tim even mentions how corrupt some of the cops were by his neighborhood.
National Guard not enforcing laws. They'd just be standing there at the park. We wouldn't even care. We'd be like, I don't know. Nobody cares. You know what we cared about? We had gangs that would come in our neighborhood, just mug everybody. And the cops said, if we start stopping the violent crime, we'd only be arresting black people, and that we'd get in trouble for being racist.
Yep. That's the insane part of it. Like, there's many of these like liberal police departments that are run by woke tarts and insane people that are like, this black person committed a crime. How many black people were arrested? Yeah, that's too many. We got to arrest the white guy. Like, right? And they're like, wait, what? How about you actually stop crime? No, we can't because there's too many blacks that are arrested. What? That's the type of reality that you don't really believe until you start living it and you start seeing it. And it's like, wait, hold on. This person could victimize me. And because they're from a privileged black class, they can't get held accountable for it. And I've seen stuff like this, and it's ridiculous. And it's infuriating. And you're paying top dollar in taxes, especially in places like New York City. And police officers are there, and they literally argue, we don't got to protect and serve you. We don't got to do anything. Get out of here. Oh, you got mugged. Too bad. Get out of here, kid. Shoo. Oh, you're a woman. You got pummeled, and you got your nose broken by a thug and your phone robbed. Tough luck. There's a protest. We got to crack down. Oh, yeah, there's a business that has a sign. It's too close to the curb. We got to make sure we ticket them. Oh, someone didn't recycle. We got to give them a ticket. Oh, your window tints. Your window tints. I remember getting pulled over, and the cop has this like special window tint thing. I just bought the car. I just got it inspected. All right. Driving it, cop knew right away. Easy ticket. You got to go to court now. I'm like, what? I just bought a car. The city inspected it. And the previous owner did this. I didn't even know. It was like a little shade darker. I was like, it wasn't even that egregious. It was like 0.1 over or 0.7 over the limit. I don't remember of tint. And it's like, really? I'm having to pay hundreds of dollars, go to court, waste my day, not work. As these thugs literally are allowed to do whatever they want to the general public and get away with it because you don't want to do your job. When you start living like that and you start seeing human atrocities, start seeing people getting shot and stabbed, and then crime not being taken seriously, it's like, whatever, bring in the National Guard, whatever, I don't care. But guess what? I don't even care anymore because I don't live there. And I choose not to live there. I choose not to surround myself with these type of evil, vile people. Because you get what you vote for. You get what you put up with. And I don't want to put up with it. I left New York City. Now, New York City was already being dramatically changed in more of a corporatist, stodgy type of establishment way. As, of course, now we have the story of this Ukrainian refugee, 23 years old, beautiful woman, fled war in Charlotte, homeless, career criminal, takes out a knife and just jabs it for no reason at all. She's sitting there, living her life, enjoying American Western privileges, only to be brutally attacked and lose her life. As now, the media doesn't seem to be giving this a lot of attention. Independent media, the internet does. George Floyd, you were able to see the video of him losing his life, of life leaving his eyes. Very dramatic, traumatizing type of video that was played over and over and over again. Fox News over again, CNN over again, MSNBC, all over the internet, Facebook, everyone. But you better pay your tribute to George Floyd. 4 golden caskets. This woman? No one's really talking about her. Huh. Interesting. 7 months of riots. What are white people going to do here? As a lot of people are saying, you know what? If you let someone off 14 times, that's a career criminal, maybe you should be the one that's held responsible for, as multiple judges, multiple DAs have enabled this type of predatory crime. And if you look at crime, vast majority of it is being committed by sociopaths, crazy people that keep committing the same crimes over and over and over again. Small number of people, vast majority of crime. You could deal with a lot of those people, and you could deal with them in a very severe way, and they wouldn't be a problem anymore, right? Now, listen, there's a lot of crazy stats here, specifically highlighting how whites are disproportionately and insanely amount of victims from blacks. All right, black on white crime. The ratio of it is extremely low. But when we look at black on white crime, extremely high. As a white person, is 31 times more likely to be victimized by a black person than the other way around. Black people make up 13.6% of the American population. About 6 to 7% of it are males, and the vast majority of crime is being committed. Black females, by the way, commit more violent crimes than white males. So it's not a male to female issue, but vast majority of the crimes are committed by 6-7% of the American population. Now, whether you're going to make this a race issue or not here, we got to understand other people are making it a race issue. There's GoFundMes now being set up for this ex-con that is seen on video. What kind of depraved, insane, race-based type of insanity are we going through in this country where you have a deranged, crazy person take the life of a Ukrainian refugee? Where's all the Ukrainian refugee flag people, by the way? They're kind of absent from this conversation. And now there's GoFundMe set up for him? What? It's as GoFundMe has been taking them down here. But listen. This is just wild. This is just absolutely crazy. Now, the media previously had a policy where they would not show the victim and the attacker. They would only usually show the victim or just the attacker. If the attacker was a white male, we would see it everywhere. By the way, lots of black and Latino prisoners and Muslim prisoners are being classified as white in order to make white people in the crime statistics look like they commit most of the crime. When in reality, the numbers that even I just mentioned before are even more skewed. As now a lot of eyes are being pointed at Washington, D.C. As listen, the biggest beneficiaries of Donald Trump's crackdown on crime is Black America. So a lot of people are like, oh, you just hate blacks. Listen, Donald Trump overwhelmingly is helping out a lot of Black Americans by dealing with those criminals inside of their communities that are wreaking havoc on everybody, right? And if you give me a choice, do I want the guardsman on the corner or do I want Laquan on the corner? Listen, I'll take the National Guardsman at this point if I have to. If there's a choice, if there's a decision, whatever. It's Tim writes, one National Guardsman sitting on the train, and this wouldn't have happened. It's terrible. It's gotten to this point, but I'm done listening to liberals from uppity areas telling me and my family we must suffer under criminal terror. Listen, I just say vote with your dollar, vote with your taxes, vote with where you are. I was so sick I loved living in New York City. Like New York City has a different kind of residency frequency. It's on the 33rd parallel. There's a lot of magic. There's a lot of incredible, like really awesome people living in New York City. And then there's a lot of negative stuff. But I was like, I got to pay record amount of taxes, and then what I pay for is the letting loose of criminals that just get to run free and then hurt my family, that get to hurt my loved ones, and I can't even defend myself about it. As places in Canada are even outlawing people being able to have security cameras on their own property. Yep. You can't have self-defense weapons. I remember, you can't have pepper spray. You can't have any type of weapon that would defend you from criminal gangs that have all the weapons. In an ideal, perfect world, people would be allowed to defend themselves. And I think that should be the priority. That should be the course. That should be prioritizing the laws, the policies, the initiatives. We don't live in that world. Now we get more government. I don't want more government, but if you're in these horrible places, you're going to want more government. And it's rational to understand that you want more government rather than the criminals that are terrorizing you right away. What do you want? Let me know. I guess that all depends on where you live and where you are, right? What do you think is right? Let me know down in the comment section below. Thank you so much for checking out wearechange.shop and getting our supplements and bettering yourself and improving your own overall longevity and health. I'm going to be here for you beautiful and amazing human beings doing that. And this is why I love you guys. Stay tuned for more. All here on youtube.com/wearechange.